Hi, it's Colleen Schmidt from Divination Counseling Service. I'm going to do a plain asteroid video today. No charts. I just want to talk about some new asteroids. My teacher, Martha Lang Westcott, is always researching. And in that research, she comes up with some really good stuff. So what I'm going to do today is I want to relay to you some of the newer asteroids that she's been working with. And the one I want to start with first is those two asteroids that relate to the ascendant. So with that said, I also want to say thank you, somebody, 8th house, somebody who has been doing timestamps on the video. I do appreciate that, especially these asteroid videos. So I'll timestamp this as I go into the ascendant at 59. So at 59 seconds. So with this, I just want to talk about how the ascendant is one of the places that we look to find out not just about the tools that you use to get through life, but also it describes very literally your birth. But Martha has come up with two more birthing asteroids. And I got to tell you, my own research, these birthing asteroids are highly accurate. Okay? So the first one that we're going to talk about is Born. Okay? And Born has a number 13954 for those of you who go out to Astrodeeds to collect them. And Born can be used a lot like the ascendant. It is going to tell you a lot about what was going on at the time that you're born. Now, if you happen to be a Martha student or a Uranian student, you want to make sure that you look at the whole axis. Every 2230, there's going to be another axis point or another arm for you to look at. With that said, anything that falls in those axes will be directly implicated in the birth, your birth. The other asteroid that works exactly the same way is one called Cortusa. So it's like Cort, USA, Cortusa. Okay, Cortusa. At least that's how I say it, could be wrong. The number is 1232. And again, you would treat this exactly like an ascendant. So if you are a Uranian astrologer, again, go back, do your axis every 2230 on a 90-degree dial is a hot spot. So you want to make sure that you hit all four arms, and during that process, you will, just like Born, have added details regarding your birth. Now, as that said, because of what we've learned in Uranian, one of the things that you want to make note of is that those factors that affected you at the time that you were born are also going to be factors that are going to show up in your life as tools. Because whenever we have some sort of trauma, and let's be honest, birth is traumatic, then that trauma leaves an impression on that personality for that's it, for all the days to come following it. Okay, that's just one of those things they learn in Uranian astrology when we do the year of birth, when we go through the directed sun arcs. So, or directed solar, not solar arcs, the directed sun. 54 minutes a year or something like that. So in any event, these asteroids will play a huge factor in that, okay? And so when you're now looking at the ascendant, those of us who are really interested in the asteroids might want to also take a peek at these two. I think you're going to be blown away just as I was. I was so blown away by what I found that I wrote Martha. This was in her toot, her newsletter, and I just I had to share with her. I think it was the November newsletter too. I had to share with her my own ascendant shows my complicated birth, so I'm not going to deny that. But the complications of my birth were only magnified when I began to look at the other two asteroids. So in combination, it's like looking at a topical chart at the same time that you're looking at a regular chart, like if you're doing a solar return, because the two charts together tell you a more complete story. And that's how I felt when I looked at these asteroids. Now, while I was at it, in the same toot, and those of you who get toot will know this, she also looked at things like fear and prone, as it's called, being overly optimistic. So there's two ways we can go as people. We can either be fearful and scared all the time, or we can be like Polyanas and think, oh, everything will be just fine. Okay. So those are two different aspects of a personality. And with that said, I want to talk about some of the asteroids that we talked about there. First of all, Elliptis, ELPIS, number 59, is what is referred to as a gentle Pollyanna. Okay, so this person, look it up even in your own chart. How are you with regards to being maybe more of a gentle Pollyanna? Whereas melancholia is what it sounds like. It's, when you're melancholy, when you are more fearful, more paranoid, more depressed, more oppressed. Okay, and then we have Barlow. Okay, so let me first of all give you some numbers. So Barlow is 15466. Okay, and melancholia, of course, I didn't write that down. Let me go look it up, and I'll be actually. Let me see if I can find it without, because if I go out, it's really hard for me to get back in, but I may have to do that because I'd like to give you this number. So, I did it without too much trouble. Anyway, okay, so melancholia is 5708. And so we're going through extremes here. So we start with Barlow. These are like the Jupiterian type people, they're happy, they're outgoing. And she's listed as Jupiter on steroids. So it's really somebody who's maybe overly optimistic. Now, then we go down to Elliptis, as I explained, and then melancholia. But I want to go one more. We've already worked with this asteroid, Machiavellian. Okay, so Machiavellian is like, wow, that's like the other extreme. That's like the cunning, the conniving, so that's 19730. And we have all of these asteroids in our chart, so we can find out how we're utilizing everything from Barlow down to Machiavelli. Okay, then I want to do just a few more. I want to talk about dreams, which is Morpheus. 4197 would be the number for dreams. And what you're going to notice, at least I did, was that my dreams were highly connected to several other asteroids, and I do have prophetic dreams. So what I thought was really interesting was that was actually clearly concisely explained when I went through my chart. So please do this. Combine them. See which ones fall in other axes. So just a few more here. Talent, which is what it is. Where are our talents? So we have a 33154 on talent. And what about wisdom? Wisdom is a big one for me. It's like I put that right on my main list because I'm always looking for wisdom, whether it be in a client's chart or in my own. So wisdom is number 3402, and it is just what it stands for, wisdom. Now, the last two that I have are related to, I want to say, psychic knowledge. Now, we've already done this in another video where I explained that psyche can not only be emotional wounding, but it can also be our psychic intuitive ability. Hecate is intuitive ability. We've already talked about those two asteroids and their ability to make us a little bit more aware, to give us more knowing. Okay, but I'm going to add to that list. I'm going to add Sophia at 251 for knowing. And for a lot of people that have or use or utilize their psychic ability, we all have it. But the way that it comes out in an individual will always be different. Okay, so I talk about this. I've come from a very intuitive family. Okay, so there's a lot of quote unquote psychics. A lot of people have seen things before they've happened. They used to joke that one of my grandmothers was the hawk. Her kids could get away with nothing. So there's a lot of that in our family. And one of the things we talk about is the ways in which we know. And for some of us, we just know. It just comes, bam, we know. I could cite a lot of examples, but that's Sophia. Okay? It's Sophia. You just know. You can't even explain why you know, you just know. And if you listen to that inner voice, you'll find out that it's probably a good thing. The other is different. It's telepathy. Okay, now, telepathy is again that ability to connect, if you will, with others, with other circumstances, the telepathy, by telepathy, to know something. Okay, and interestingly enough, that's a little bit different than knowing. So one of the things that I love to talk about when I'm teaching astrology is the fact that we are so uniquely individual, that no two people even look at the world the same way. They couldn't possibly. So in many respects, when we begin to break down these asteroids, for example, 3 different ascendants, well, actually more than that, because you also have your equatorial ascendant, your vertexual ascendant. So you have all of these different ways in which to gather the tools that we have to get through our days, okay? But that's true if you're somebody who's out there trying to find ways in which you could work on your own intuitive ability. Well, first of all, you have to find out from your chart, where does your talent lie? Talent? Yeah, that was on purpose. So you got to understand that for some of us, talent could point to some of those psychic abilities or those telepathic concepts. But it could also be, as with me, Morpheus was very important to that stuff. So I do a lot of work with my dreams, and I do, and I have always, since I'm 20. I studied courses through the Association for Research and Enlightenment. There was a ton of material through that organization about dreams and dream work, and work that was handed down through Edgar Cayce. And it's so cool to be able to put what I've known together with what I've just learned. And what I've learned is all those years of doing dream research and understanding lucid dreams and all the other stuff that I did regarding my dream work was literally not in vain, and it literally is in my chart. So it's very interesting, things that we do or things that we've been attracted to, things that we're drawn to in life. They're all in the chart. And sometimes I get upon those things. I run into them, as I did when I did this research with Martha. I had to write her. It was so exciting. And I couldn't believe how much it tied things together. So with that said, very short video, I just wanted to introduce yet another handful of asteroids for us to begin to work with. And you should be able to find these on Asteroids. Thank you for watching the video. And as always, I want to wish you all happy reading.